Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's K-E-S-H-W-A-N-I, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for SAT. We have been solving SAT grammar questions out of this book here, the official SAT study guide. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. The problems that we are about to solve are the ones that you will find on page number 534. Please turn to it. Page 534, and today is our lesson number 14. There are 18 of these questions. We did the first 6 yesterday. Those were easy questions on page number 533. Today we see 2 columns here. In the first column they are medium questions, and as we get in the second column they will begin to turn into a little bit more challenging ones. Let's see what we can do. Number 18, first one. It's on the blackboard as a matter of fact. It goes something like this. It says, as children mature. Do you find anything wrong with that phrase? As children mature, or as you mature, or as they mature. There's nothing wrong with it. Which means the answer is not A. As children mature, they develop an independence. Now had this been the end of the sentence, if we ignore everything else, had this been the end of the sentence, as children mature, they develop independence, it would have been a perfectly fine sentence, which tells us that answer is not B either. So far everything is fine. They develop an independence. We have to get rid of this full stop. That their parents, who have been responsible for them since their birth, often find difficult to accept. This is fine. There's nothing wrong with this thing. That their parent, they often develop, not often, but he says they develop an independence. That their parents, who have been responsible for the children since their birth, often find difficult to let go, to accept. Not let go rather, but to accept. They often find it difficult to let go of them because they are still their children. There's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with this sentence. The answer is E. This sentence is fine the way it is. Number 19. Horse psychology, a science that investigates the reasons for, this is fine also, horse psychology, a science that investigates the reasons for, I think I switched my letters here, that investigates, there you go, a science that investigates the reasons for what? For the behavior of horses. It goes on to say, help something, help with something, or help something. What do you find wrong here? What is the subject of the sentence? The problem here is subject-verb agreement, number 1 that we have to look for, the very first thing that we should look for. The subject of the sentence here is horse psychology, which is singular. It is singular. If we get rid of all of this part in the middle, all of this part is irrelevant. And if we just concentrate on the subject and the verb, it says horse psychology help. No, horse psychology does not help. Horse psychology helps, because it is singular. Psychology helps. Mathematics helps. Economics helps. These are all singular because it's one subject. That's what's wrong with it. The answer is B. Let's go to the next one. To an Iranian, only a salt desert really merits the name desert. For other types, to an Iranian, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with this phrase. To an Iranian, only a salt water merits the name desert. Apparently there is a strict criterion that they observe before they label something as a desert. For other types, for other types, and this is idiom. This is an idiom. It is fine. For other types of deserts can be sown with dates, figs, and pistachio. And they go on to say, and it goes on and on, and it can be watered. What can be watered? What does it mean by it? This pronoun refers obviously to the original noun that was presented in the beginning of the sentence, which is other types. For other types. Other types can be watered. This is what they're talking about. For the other types of desert can be sown with dates, figs, and pistachios. So everything else that we put them in quotation in desert, to an Iranian, they are not technically deserts because things can grow on it. We can grow things, stuff in it, and therefore they are not desert. And it goes on to say it can be watered. It's not it. We're talking about other types of desert. It's not it. It should be they. We're talking about other types of desert. The subject of this sentence is other types of desert, and they can be watered, not it. The answer is C. The other types of deserts can be watered. Let's go on then. Next one. Mr. K proudly displayed her research group's most ingenious invention. So far there is nothing wrong. Mr. K proudly displayed her research group's most ingenious invention. This is fine. This entire phrase is fine. Had this been the end of the sentence, this would have been a perfectly fine sentence. The sentence goes something like this: Mr. K proudly displayed her research group's most ingenious invention. It's a perfectly fine sentence. Mr. K proudly displayed her group's most ingenious invention, which tells us the answer is neither A nor B. This part was A and B, and this is fine. Let's keep on reading. A vacuum cleaner apparently that empties its own dust bag when a vacuum cleaner that empties its own dust bag when pressing a button. And this is where our problem lies. This is where our problem lies. We have to fix it. Just concentrate on this part. The rest of the stuff was not interesting to us. A vacuum cleaner that empties its own. This is fine also. A vacuum cleaner that empties its own dust bag when what? When a button is pressed. A vacuum cleaner that empties its own bag when a button is pressed, not when pressing a button. The answer is D. When a button is pressed. Number 22, next column. Famous for their sticky feet, the gecko does something. That's our sentence. The rest of the stuff is, we are not interested in it. Okay, as I always tell you, if you've been watching these videos from the beginning, from day one, as I always remind you, our job is to train ourselves to recognize the juicy bits and learn how to throw away, how to ignore the irrelevant bits, the boring bits. This is it. This is our sentence. This is the only thing we need to concentrate on. The sentence goes something like this. Famous for their sticky feet, gecko does something. What is the subject of this sentence? Subject of the sentence is gecko. Just one. Only one of them. Singular. Gecko. Gecko does something. I shouldn't have made such a mess here now. Gecko does something. This is singular. This is singular, and the pronoun that refers to it is plural. Famous for its sticky feet. The reason why people get confused is because they mention the feet. Of course, feet are plural. Feet, of course, are plural, but that's not the subject of the sentence. Their feet is not what we're talking about. We're talking about gecko as a whole. Famous for its sticky feet. It does something. That's all. The answer is A. The answer is A. Let's go on to the next one. Number 23. It starts out by saying both the work on the community service project and her dedication to learning, both A and B. A part here is her work on community service project. That's the A part. A is her work on community service project. And what's the B part? The B part is her dedication to learning. Both A and B has, what does it say? I can't read it. Has gained or something. Both A and B, both of these values that they're describing, has gained her something. Has is singular. We're talking about A and B. We're talking about two things. We're talking about two things here. It should be have. Do you understand? Both his bravery and honesty has made him famous. Oh, there you go. There's another sentence. Both, it's a silly one. It's the same thing as this one. Both his bravery and his honesty has made him famous. This is silly. This is ridiculous. Has is singular. The verb is in singular form. The verb, we have a problem with the subject-verb agreement here. The subject is, what's the subject here? Subject here is plural. The subject is his bravery and his honesty. The subject of the sentence is plural. His bravery and his honesty have made him famous. Let's go on then. Number 24. After the uprising that has led to the establishment of Chinese Republic. This is too simple. After the uprising that has led to the establishment of Chinese Republic. It's written in the past tense. The whole sentence is written in the past tense. Many Chinese Americans decided, past tense, to return to China in the hopes of a bright future there. But we're not interested in that part. They returned to China. After the uprising of 1911, that not has led, but that had led. We need a past perfect, not present perfect. It's not has led, it's had led. It has to be in past perfect. This is called, has led is called present perfect and past perfect. Do you understand? you called after I have eaten. I have eaten. Have eaten is perfect. It's called present perfect. Present perfect won't do it here because the first part is in past tense. You called. Now had it said you're calling me now after I have eaten, that would have been fine. After I have eaten, because everything is in present tense here, then it will require present perfect. Here you call after I had eaten, so on and so forth. Do you understand? To go out and eat something. Let's go on then. We are on number 24. Oh, sorry, we finished number 24, the very last one, number 25. At the art show, Amy enjoyed looking at her friend Mark's innovative paintings. At the art show, Amy enjoyed looking at Mark's paintings, which she thought were more original, which she thought was more original than what? Which she thought was more original than the other guy. Oh, for crying out loud, we cannot go around comparing Mark's paintings to the other guy. We cannot go around comparing paintings of one person to another person. We have to compare paintings of one person to the paintings of the other person. It has to do with what is known as parallel construction. Amy enjoyed looking at Mark's paintings, which she thought were more original than the other guy's paintings. And that would have been fine. The answer is D. The answer is D here. I want you to compare this question. Why don't you compare this question? Compare this one. Compare this one with number 21 on page 410. Something that we did on day number 4. Watch the video for day 4 if you have not. Turn to that page number in your book, 410, and do that question first before you watch day number 4. Turn to page 410, do question number 21 and compare that question to the one we just finished. I will see you tomorrow, okay? Bye now.